Welcome to the Chasing Brighter podcast.
The podcast created as a guide to make midlife the best life.
Are you ready to embrace the next chapter of your life with confidence and excitement? Your best life is just a listen away. Hi, Kelly. I'm thinking of Billy Madison when he says, what did he say? You got your backpack on, you got your shoes tied tight. I hope I don't get in a fight. Do you remember that on?
No, I do not. But that's hilarious.
Are you in the thick of back to school shopping? Are you ready for this chaos?
I am. It's funny because I think as the kids have gotten older, it's more rinse and repeat. I don't even stress about the back to school supplies because I'm going to CVS and I've done it every year and it seems to work out fine. Plus, I started keeping the kids' things from the prior school year
like those
because
plastic folders.
like the folders, yeah, I just kept
Yeah.
buying them over. And this year I was like, nope, we're going to keep those. So trying to like recycle stuff. Also, I think the kids aren't, I can remember a time when like starting a new school, like last year, Wes started high school, right? So Dominic starting high school this year. So there's just a lot of change, a lot of new, a lot of adjusting to things. Then you're not really quite sure. And so I think those are some transitional times that can be stressors for sure.
I always think like I would buy every single thing the teacher says. And then especially middle school, high school, it's been my experience. Because it's like a generic, this is what eighth graders need.
It goes into the pool of stuff.
They go to the teacher and the teachers know I want a 1-inch binder with 4 clear folders, whatever. So it's now I've been like, you know what? I'm waiting until they go to school. Just go to school the first or second day and then I'll figure out what to get you guys because it always changes and that used to make me mad. Gabby is 100% virtual this fall. We could not find any in-person classes that fit. And also, I don't know if you've gotten into Rate My Professor yet.
No, I don't know anything about that.
So Rate My Professor, which I feel like is good and bad. So when you're in college, you can go look up the professors. And so she could have an in-person class, but then the professor they give them letter grades or whatever. So I think it's letter grades, if I remember. I don't remember. So they'd have, maybe it's not letter grades, whatever. Yeah, it's 1 to 5. So they'd have a 1 and everyone's saying, this professor is horrible. This class is really hard. You'll never be able to get an A or a B. And so you're like, well, I don't want that professor. So you start looking. And so all that's left is like online because you want the professor that people like and that it's not crazy. So I feel like it's better to not know and then just pick your class and what happens. But so because of that, anyway, she's going to be online. And so she doesn't really need any school supplies that I know of. So we got that one, the elementary kid, whatever. So I think that's what causes us stress too, but it's not just that, it's those routines, right? So we get the supplies, we have the backpacks, but then our routine shifts. And then we have this calm quiet of summer that's replaced by this frenzy. And so whether you're navigating early wake up calls, juggling drop-offs and pickups, or trying to remember what day PE shoes are needed, back to school season can feel like a full-time job on its own.
Yeah, it's a lot. And especially when you're used to sleeping in and then you have to all of a sudden wake up. But here's the thing. While we're busy making sure our kids are set up for success, we often forget to check in with ourselves. So today we're turning the spotlight back on you. We're diving into how to manage back to school stress, not just for the kids, but for grown-ups too. And that's anything from establishing grounding routines to setting realistic expectations about yourselves and what you can do and what's actually going to be happening. And we want to really talk about ways to ease that mental load, which so many of us struggle with, and find moments of calm in the chaos. So we want to create a smoother transition into the season ahead because a thriving family starts with a centered parent like you.
Yeah. And we also just want to normalize this. Back to school transition can be hard for us too. Like you're saying, I sleep in the summer because I have an hour extra every day. And so it's like we often focus on how kids are going to adjust. But what about the parents? It's not just a shift in their schedule, it's a transition for us too. Now we're juggling Now we're juggling earlier mornings, added logistics, more emotional labor for the default parent, and shifting routines. So some of us might be feeling more relief, some of us might be feeling guilt, overwhelm, exhaustion, but all of that is valid. Whether you're a parent
Yes.
working outside the home or navigating a quieter house, we just want to recognize that this brings a real emotional and mental load.
Yes. So, you know what? It's okay to feel off. It's okay to grieve the summer and summer freedom and the dread of the back to school, the new school year hustle. And it's okay to need time to adjust. Let's stop pretending like the shift is only going to impact the kids and you're navigating change too. Remember that you're navigating change and you deserve support, space, and grace while doing it.
And we want to talk about first, just like the kind of, we'll do three main areas of the stress, right? Common back to school stressors for parents. Number one, the schedule overload. Back to school often means a sharp increase in time demands because now we have to wake everybody up at a certain time. We have school drop-offs, lunch, like what they're going to do for lunch, whether you're packing or getting at school, you have to figure that out. Are there extracurricular activities? Managing homework. Are you paying? Do they have their papers and the homework? Or and then write your own work or personal schedule on top of that. So that freedom from summer disappears overnight. And then it's replaced by a rigid
Yeah.
structure that feels relentless. It's easy
Yes.
to feel like you're being pulled in 10 different directions without an opportunity to catch your breath.
Yes. And then there is this emotional whiplash. 1 minute, you're thrilled to have some quiet time again. And the next, you're missing the chaos of summer and the feeling of the weight of responsibilities ramping up. So the transition can stir up a lot of unexpected emotions like sadness, guilt, frustration, even grief. So watching your child enter a new grade, they're growing more independent. There's a lot of even some like life stages stuff that can be happening. And struggling with that adjustment can really bring up a lot of big feelings for you too. And so it's roller coaster. It can be a roller coaster ride and it's normal. I know even for myself, Jess, I definitely think the transition of Wes going into high school last year took its toll on me so much more than I realized. And I don't think I fully realized it until later, like until I guess early 2025. It also I gained like 10 pounds last year because of it. And I didn't know like the stress and anxiety of it
Yeah.
was going to be such a toll. So it is hard for everyone. And I think that's why we want to like make everyone aware of this and be thinking about it and how to give you the tools that you need to like battle this and be ready and come out better than before.
Yeah, because that's what you're talking about. Anxiety isn't just for the kids, right? Because you might be worrying about your child's academic performance, friendships, just like the social landscape, teacher
Mhm.
dynamic. Sometimes, especially if you have one teacher in grade school, you just get the crappy teacher, or maybe they don't like your kid and you're just stuck. And that's tough. When Gabby was in fourth grade, there was a teacher that had worked at the school and for the school district for 25 years, and he just stopped showing up. He took PTO. And I don't know if it's everywhere, but in Nevada, what I learned from this experience is when teachers are unionized, they have access to the grade book and no one else has access to the grade book. So because he technically hadn't left and he'd been working for years, he had, I don't even know, 5 months of PTO. And so no one could access grades and they were just holding, they didn't know what to do. And so we had an indefinite substitute, and it
Hmm.
was a shit show, and it was so stressful for
Wow.
us, and we were really lucky, well, not lucky, but the year before, Dominic was in kindergarten, and we had a crazy teacher situation, and so Justin went to talk to the school, and we were one of the very, very few families that were able to get Gabby pulled and go into another classroom, but that was super crazy, right? Because so again, you're worrying, "Are they okay? Are they thriving? Am I doing enough?" Like, you're asking all these questions, and so, again, when we talk about these 3 different stressors, We just want to remind you that it's normal, it's valid, you're not alone. It's okay if this season feels heavier than expected. And so we just want to create the space to acknowledge your experience. And it's also important, right? You can't manage stress. You can't manage this overwhelm if you don't acknowledge it, right? So just being open to, hey, tapping into yourself, this is really overwhelming for me. And now we want to get into the nuts and bolts of it, where we want to just talk about our tips that will help manage the emotional load during this time.
Yes. One of the things that I like is morning micro moments for
Mhm.
calm, and that can be just even 5 minutes of quiet before the house wakes up. I think the most important thing about these micro moments is really being intentional and mindful that of what you're doing. Really be conscious of, "This is my micro moment. I'm gonna be grateful and know that this is, like, my moment of calm," and really just leaning into that and fully immersing yourself for that period of time into these micro moments of
I
calm.
think we talked a lot about that last year. I love anything micro when you feel like you don't have any time. So we talked about micro
Yes.
joys in season 3. So I like the idea that we don't it's like something under 10, under 5 minutes. I really enjoy that. For
Mm.
me is I like to just a routine and calm for me as I'm the first one downstairs and just making my coffee and listening to the news. It's not triggering for me. I just want a little update of what's happening. So I have a on my smart speaker, it gives you a
Yeah.
little routine of what's going on, how long it will take you to get to work. So I really like that because when you're doing the same thing all the time and in a routine, that brings a sense of calm, right? Because you're doing the same thing. And so I
Yes.
love that. My
Yes.
second tip is creating a visual schedule to reduce the mental load. So we got, I know we talked about this last year, but that the skylight calendar, we got the giant one. And so then we can see, everyone can visually see. And my teens now add their schedule into it. It's a shared family calendar. So just being able to see everything out is helpful for all of us.
Yeah, I love that. I agree. It helps get everybody aware of what's going on. And I feel like we've got a pretty good system on our side for that as well. But we don't have that printout like
Yeah.
visual, which I think is really great. I really need to figure out
Mhm.
how I can do something like that. I think the other thing that is really important is drop the perfectionism, the ability to let go of doing it all. And there's a couple things for me that come to mind on that. For example, last year we started having Beckett since he's in school by himself. We had him walk to school home by himself. And the perfectionist mom of me would be like, "Oh, I need to go meet him after school because I know that's what all the other moms do and then I can walk home with him." And I really I ended up doing that once in a while and using those moments that I know I could talk to him and have the conversation on the walk home, but also, like, really leaning on my kids more, whether it's the lunches or getting themselves ready in a way that you don't have to do anything, and so part of, I think, what helps me in terms of really that whole concept of me doing it all and it all has to be perfect is sharing the load
Mhm.
with my kids, my partner too, but a lot of it is really figuring out how to make it work that I don't need to do it
Yes,
all.
I have not brought this up to my partner yet, but it's funny you say that because we had an episode where you were asking how Dominic's gonna get to school and everything. And it's like I did not even think to ask my husband. And so that is something that I am going to be doing of having him take Dominic to school, and that will impact my husband's routine. And I'm sure he'll be grumpy about it. But I do have to say, for if Gabby's 17 and she's been going to school since she was 3, for 14 years, I've managed getting the kids to school. So I feel like an ask of basically 2 years, because then he'll be 16, is not like a big deal. But just like realizing, like, I don't have to do it all, and, like, you can put that on someone else, and they have to deal with it,
Yeah.
just like no one asks us, and we have to deal with it,
Yes.
just this is the way it is. I think it's
Yeah, for
great
sure.
too to talk to your kids about their feelings, and also you can do that by we call it emotional coaching, but you name your feelings too, right? oh, this is a really big change. I'm feeling a little anxious about your new routine. How are you feeling about it? And just initiating those conversations so that you are creating a safe space to talk about emotions.
Yeah, I think that's really important, especially going through bigger transitions and just checking in. I think for this season, what we want to try to encourage our listeners to do is to really be more introspective on these conversations we're having. And maybe you're taking a little bit of nugget here and there. We really want to ask you to ask yourself, check in with you. Let us help you help yourself with a lot of these kind of personal prompts of things. If you journal, if you're putting something in your phone, but really take a moment to explore and sit with some of the
Yeah. And
topics that we
our
have.
prompt for today is 2 questions. First, think back to your own childhood and what helped you feel safe and supported during a transition. And how can you recreate that for yourself and your family? Kelly and I moved a lot in childhood. And I would say what helped us feel safe and supported is that we were a very tight knit family. And so doing a lot of things as a family, like I don't even know if we were allowed to isolate, but we always had a meal together, right? We always had a meal together as a family and did things together. And I think that helped me feel safe and supported. How about for you?
I like that. Yeah, I think just having family, but having a sibling around just to know that you had like when we were going to a new school, it
Yeah.
wasn't just one of
Yeah.
us going there. That always helped, I think. But yeah, I think having our parents making sure that we were ready and had everything we needed, definitely. And so I think about how I'm a little bit similar. My kids are so different than us, right? Remember we used to go back
Mhm.
to school shopping once in a while, and
Yeah.
we'd get, like, a new outfit or 2, and it was so awesome. I absolutely loved it. It was my favorite part of going back to school. Whereas now I'd be like, "Do you guys want any back to school clothes?" "Nah,
Yeah.
not really." So I've
Yeah.
tried to recreate it.
Back to school
But yeah,
shopping.
I think it's important.
I think you also,
Yes.
I don't know, we always lived where there were 4 seasons. So you needed a transition wardrobe because you grew. But now children, especially teen boys, are known for wearing shorts and t-shirts year round. And so they're not having a transitional wardrobe.
Yeah.
My teen son has really gotten into fashion, and we went to Town Square Mall in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it is the largest mall in the Southwest and one of the largest malls in the country.
Okay.
And we went to the mall, and he actually is interested in fashion and wanted some shirts and hoodies. And so I had said, okay, this will be your back to school stuff. We bought him some very nice, you know how they like the hybrid, like stretchy, really soft, stretchy shorts, but they look nicer or whatever. So we were
Yeah.
at a store and
Yeah,
he
yeah,
got
yeah,
some.
yeah.
They were a little pricey, but we ordered some to be delivered. So he got 3 pairs of shorts. He got a couple hoodies and t-shirts, and that was really exciting for me. And I think because you say that because it's just a memory, right? A core memory of going with
Yeah.
our parents to J.C. Penney
Mhm.
and getting our
Yeah.
outfits. But yeah, like what you're saying is adapting to where your kids are now. And I think as we move through
Yeah.
the weeks
Yes.
ahead, we just have to remember grace over grind. We need to give ourselves permission to not have it all figured out. What matters is that we're showing up, take a breath and take a moment and take care of you.
Yes. Because remember, you've got this, and we're right here cheering for you
Yeah.
every step
And
of the
if
way.
this episode resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a fellow parent who's in the thick of it too.
Thanks for listening today. Don't forget to subscribe so you can hear our latest episodes as soon as they drop.
If you loved today's episode, share with a friend. Find us on Instagram at Chasing Brighter or check out our blog at chasingbrighter.com and follow us. If you want to know more about Kelly and I, read our blogs, find more tips, tools, and resources, check that out at chasingbrighter.com. Thanks. Remember, your best life is just a listen away.